Yo, what's good? This is Chairman House of Barf. How's everybody feeling? Hope you're doing great. Hope your family's great. Hope everybody's doing wonderful. I will say that I did not get any research done last night, but it's not possibly what you think. I wasn't just lunching or beating off or anything. Well, in totality, it was a very, again, just and I fell into it. It was a very spiritual warfare night. I fell into it once again, arguing with people on the phone, them calling me names and evil and all this mumbo jumbo, and laughing at me because I'm about to lose my house and my wife and my car. Say you're about to get repoed. I said, man, fuck y'all. On the phone till like midnight. Nothing positive. Just back and forth of bashing and trashing. Unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable. But I got reeled in, and as soon as I hop off the phone, two things. It was like a YouTube short comes up, and it was like, lukewarm Christians. They're the worst. They go around claiming to be Christian and do everything wrong. And then the next YouTube short was something like behaviors that Christians do not indulge in. I'm like, it was like, I can't remember what it said, like cussing people out, being angry, holding grudges. I'm like, what the? like, come on, man. As soon as I hopped off the phone, and I told you, it's like midnight. And I'm like, I'm on the phone all night. I could, like, you're supposed to be on the phone all night with some bait. You know what I'm saying? Just hollering, what you got on, what you doing, blah, blah. I'm on the phone all night. Big fuck you, no, fuck you. That's why nobody likes you no more. I don't give a fuck, It's just ridiculousness. And then I said, you know what? I got a master. No, I'm not trying to be boastful. I said, I got a master's. I got experience in my industry. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go apply for a job. As soon as I went to go apply for a job, I could feel my soul just saying, all right, man, I'm out. Okay, we've done this before. You run and then you bump your head, and the first thing you do is go towards security. You do this all the time. You go towards security, and not for my security, just so that I can tell other people, look, I got a job. Look, I'm paying my bills. But it's like, dude, come on. And I hopped on LinkedIn, and I'm scrolling. I'm like, yo, I'm going to find me a job. And I could just feel every job I looked at. I was like, going back to the office. It's not about that. It's two things. It's going back to the office and dealing with, I don't mind dealing with people, but like, I don't even mind dealing with rude people. It's more so for me is getting, the tasks done, as well as I'm at a point in my life, I'm in mid-30s. I understand as well as it's about picking up extra projects and also joining your employee groups. I'm there. I'm like, okay, it's taking me some time. You know what I'm saying? The employee groups wasn't too hard for me. I always, since I was a kid, I always was giving back. As mean and evil as I always say I am, or people, will say I am, I have always been a part of giving back. Always. And that's always going to be something I do. Whether it was helping disabled children or helping elderlies or helping whatever it was. I've always been involved. So join the employee groups. The employee groups, I'm sure if you're aware, or if you're unaware, the African American group or the book club or the women's leadership or women empowerment or the military spouses affected by traumatic situations, the Asian American Association or the Asian Women Association, whatever it is, I would join all of them. I'm in all the groups. Like, Chad, what you doing in this Asian Woman Leadership Committee? Hey, we all can relate some way. What's going on? Shit. I mean, not to say, but even shit, I'm in the LGBTQIA plus community. Just, hey, I'm here. I'm not queer, but I'm here. All right. And no worries. So I've always been willing to help. The one thing I can say that is the extra projects. The extra projects, and it's not because I don't want extra projects. It's sometimes I can have a little difficulty. One, I'm trying to learn my job. I'm trying to become an expert. This is something I also kind of figured out. You're really not supposed to become an expert in your job. You're supposed to either really be good at it or you're not, So you can be really good at your job and then work on these extra projects. And then on the other end, also dealing with multiple different personalities. And it's not just at one corporation. I have, buddies, neighbors or whatever that we'll talk and we'll be like, man, damn, it's the same shit every company you go to. You got, no offense, you got these racist ass people in there, whether it's women or men, the condescending comments, the degrading. And it's not that I'm not going to hop back into it, but I can hop back into it from another angle. It's kind of like, look, it's my podcast. I know, shit, y'all want to take it, run with it, go ahead. I even say, do I own it right now? No, I don't own it. I'm just an individual using my cell phone as a mic. If y'all want, y'all can try to take the whole shit, run off with it, and do it 10 times greater. Shit, I'm not fucking Dave Ramsey or Susan Orman. I don't have 6-7 figures sitting in my bank account. I have negative 5-6 figures in my bank. I'm no expert. I'm just a guy who's passionate and loves this industry. So if somebody says, you know what, we should really take that platform and then go get some data analyst or some, these schematic guys from Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch, get them to get on the podcast. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. So went through that. So applying for the jobs and tells you this, the pit of my stomach started to bile to a point. I think I actually had to go use the bathroom. I was like, oh shit, felt my stomach just like, no. And I know what you're under. You're under the pressure. People are making fun of you, saying you ain't got no job. You're about to get your car repoed, about to lose your house, about to lose your spouse, lost your job, about to lose your children. Everybody's making fun of you, laughing at you. Got homeboys, not even just other men. Got the other men calling your spouse. Got your homeboys calling your spouse, talking about, hey, we can still be friends. We got this event going on. We're still friends. And I can only imagine the way they interact when I'm not around. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, give me a big hug. We love you so much. Oh yeah, we know Chan Man. He can be crazy. Like, going on that dumb shit. So dealing with all of that, I went to go again apply for some jobs, and again just felt the soul, because I could see myself going into it was like I could picture myself getting the job. I could picture myself going to work in a light blue button down, some khakis, and some shoes that are acceptable in the office, and going in there having my I usually carry a book bag. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm like, screw it. At least let me do the book bag. I can't do the whole suitcase or whatever thing. Going in there, sitting at my desk. And the crazy thing is, I have no problem with this. The problem I have with is I'm doing my job. I'm knocking my job out. I'm doing well. I'm having a great day. I'm getting ready for lunch. And it's like, hey, Jan, can I talk to you for a second? Huh? Come here. Let me just talk to you real quick. Hey, great job. I'm glad you're here. It's like, oh gosh, here we go. All right. So, what's your plan for the rest of the day? Motherfucker, work? I don't know. What do you mean? Like, what do you got scheduled? What are you going to do? And it's going to be, oh gosh. Then the next day, hey, Chen, we know you only been here for a couple of weeks, but it's mid-year reviews. So we only know you've been here for a couple of weeks, but we're still going to go ahead and get you in there. Okay, cool. And it's like, gosh, here we go. And then there's going to be things where I may not be as productive as other people. Then you're going to hop into this whole cycle. Then you're going to start getting stressed. Then you're going to start hopping into the cycle of commuting. And not spending enough time with your family or your friends or whatever. So all this was just coming to my mind. And I'm not saying that I'm not going back to a 9 to 5. I'm not saying that at all. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure out this RSS, this really simple syndication. I was like, let me figure this out. Stayed up all night trying to figure it out. I got about 10 platforms here. I don't even got my shit pulled up. I got about 10 platforms that are like, hey, possibly even like 13 platforms. They're like, hey, you can go ahead and put your podcast on our platform. And it's like, okay, cool. However, every company wants you to go through their portal. So I had to go through every company's portal. I didn't get them all done, but I got about 3 or 4 of them done. Got to go through every portal, set up an account, and then you got to give them your RSS, and then they'll give you their RSS, and then you link the 2 RSSs, and then you're good. So I stayed up all night trying to create accounts with all these different companies. Here, I'll read some of the portals. And again, this is for educational purposes, for if you want to do it on your own. And also, the reason why I wanted to talk about the job sucking my soul out was because recently I was talking to a buddy of mine, associate of mine, and he's like, we were talking about how we really think that the corporate America or the job is really there to, like, to an extent, suck your soul, you know? Because that's what it feels like. Even if you're happy, I was happy at my jobs, but it still felt like there was a portion of me that was being left at home. And I'm not talking about like my personal shit. I'm talking about that it felt like there was a portion of me, even if it was walking next to me or beside me, that was not incorporated in me, not even just at work, in life. It always felt like it was 10%, 20% of myself that was just dull and numb. And you go through the cycle, work, you get the paycheck, you pay the bills, you go to the baseball games, go Bay Sox, go Nats, whatever. And then you come home, you're exhausted, you're tired, you go to sleep, you wake up, you, get breakfast ready or whatever. And you do all these things, but it feels like there's a certain part that's like just numb. And I don't know how to describe it. So we were talking about that, and I just wanted to, when I express these things, I'm trying to just talk about things, but I also talk about these things because I do believe that, as I've stated before, I used to go to church a lot more. I don't go to church as much anymore, but there would be this time in church where they'll say, hey, does anybody want to testify? And essentially, what you do when you testify is it's not you just going up there and be like, man, I used to fuck 40 bitches a day, pull my gack out, you know what I'm saying, bust a couple niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the stories sound like. When you sit there and listen, you're like, damn, brother Jenkins, I didn't know you was like that, brother Jenkins. He's like, yeah, man, that was back in the day, man. That's not me no more, man. I'm crimson for the Lord nowadays. I used to be a backslider, but now I'm crimson, and it's like, damn, brother Jenkins was a full-blown gangster, but when you hear these stories, you feel like, wow, but that's not the point of it. The point of testifying is because there's a congregation out there of people who are going through similar situations. And if you're anybody like me that, yeah, I told you, I know I'm lukewarm or whatever, and God's going to throw me up and spit me out, and I don't know where I'm going to go, but I'm not the loudest in the church. When the songs come on, I'm not the one singing the loudest. I'm not dancing. I'm sitting there. I sing, don't get it wrong. I sing, but it's kind of, it's kind of to my tone. I'm not going all crazy, and I'm not dancing all crazy. I'm not doing all that. So for people who are like that, the testifying gives you an opportunity to hear other people experiences so that when you go home and you feel that you're alone and that you're the only one going through this, or you're isolated, or you're on Chan Man Island or whoever's island, that you're truly not. There's a bunch of people out there that are just like you, and that all we need to do is figure out how we can communicate about it, so that once you can kind of communicate about things, then you can kind of hear yourself, and then you can kind of say, you know what, I didn't think about it like that. Or you can hear other people's perspectives as well, and then you can say, you know what, for example, a lot of people will say perception projection. A lot of people will say you thought it, so therefore you made it true. And not even just true for you, you made it true for everybody around you. You thought everybody was trying to stab you in the back, me included. So then you treated everybody like they backstabbers. So the testifying can say, oh my gosh, I was walking just like you. It's like, yeah, man. And so that's where it's kind of like, so even as much as I share, if I could be wrong with this, if I feel like it's not really conducive, I really won't share it. But if I feel like, you know what, there could be possibly somebody that's going through the same thing, having people call them, calling their spouses, job terminating them, falling down on your face multiple times. I heard Denzel Washington say one time, man, if you're falling on your face, you're doing great, because that means you're falling forward. Keep falling forward. So I was like, all right, keep falling forward, don't, hey, you could think what you want, but I can't control that. But what I want to say is, don't think that I'm just expressing all this stuff to get content and to get listeners to say, ooh, this shit is dramatic. Oh my gosh. You know what? That's crazy. No, not at all. I really, truly, for me, I know this shit is small potatoes. No offense. I'm not trying to call what I'm going through small potatoes, because it's not. It's big potatoes. But I know for me, I know as long as I don't fuck up, and lose my anger, or, fall into any traps, I'm going to get through this. And not only am I going to get through this, my trajectory is going up. I'm out of here. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know why. I don't know, why, I could probably say, because, as I always talk about, because that's what the good Lord wants from me. This is what the good Lord wants. So, but as far as like how, when, where, what, all that, I don't have a clue. So we'll just take a quick break. We've been talking for a little while. We haven't even gotten to barf. It's okay. We got about an hour before the market opens. Don't have any topics ready right yet. I do want to talk about these credit cards, because these credit cards can be annoying. They can get to you, especially if you don't know what you're doing. If you're just, you spend $10,000 and you say, I'll just pay the minimums, or just the minimums and a little bit more, and then I'll be able to get this over and done with. Yes, that's true to an extent, but there's a few other things if you just understand. So I'm thinking about possibly touching on that. I don't even have all the details on credit cards, to be honest with you. I don't even know everything about credit cards. They're super complicated, but they're really not that complicated if you think about it. So I'm trying to think. I don't really have no topics I want to touch on, but let me just take a quick break. I'll be right with y'all. I don't even know if I got to take a break no more, because this RSS thing. Here, I'll explain it. This is Chairman House of Barf. Yo, what's good? This is Chairman House of Barf. Thank you so much to anybody and everybody who decided to take time out of their wonderful day to come kick it with your mans. I appreciate it. So, what I was going to explain is, after all that hooting, hollering, and going back and forth and all that bullshit, so, went to go apply for some jobs, and I'm not against a 9-to-5 at all. It's in a couple more months, or not months, probably in another month or possibly two, I'm going to be right there. I'm not going to really have no choice. Everything is and a lot of it is self-inflicted. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have, no job. I ain't had no money coming in. I had, credit cards, and, basically essentially just living off credit cards, paying bills on credit cards. And them bitches went straight up, and bank accounts are depleting. So it's only a matter of time before I really got to get back into a job. But for the time being, if I can keep fighting out here and being on my own for just a little bit longer, I may be able to secure my position. Again, applying for the jobs felt like it was sucking my soul. It felt like I was going back into time. It was like, you sure you want to go back to slavery, Chan? So, nah, but not saying, I'm just joking about that. But so went, and I hopped on my podcast. I pulled up my laptop and I put up my podcast and I took a look at it. And I said, okay, I'm losing a bunch of listeners. That wasn't it. But I was like, I got to figure out this RSS, this really simple syndication thing. So, went to these different platforms here. Let me read them off for y'all. I didn't finish. I probably got like 4 of them done. And not to mention, my brightness was broken last night. I figured it out this morning. My brightness was broken last night. So I'm up late at night, this bright ass computer. But I figured it out. It was something I just had to update. So I'm going to my podcast availability, and let me. I've read these off before, but I'll just read them off again. So the 10 platforms, or I'm not sure how many it is. 2, 4, 6, 8. It's Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and then there's like a few more. Let me see. That some people I guess use Buzzsprout, Lisbon, Podbean, and then they say any other platform you can get help with your RSS. So I said, you know what? I'm going to sit here and figure out this RSS link. And it was so simple, but my dumb ass is hard headed. So I said I'm just gonna pick one, right? And we did this before, and I said I went to my Amazon. I have one on Amazon Music, and I went to Amazon Music, and I'm like, why is this not working? Because all you can see is it's spinning. They weren't even sure if I was in America or not. I think they had me in Portugal or whatnot. The thing that was messing it up was the music. So I took the last episode that I made, what's the last one? End of the day review that I was working on yesterday. And I removed all the music because nobody listened to it yet. And I removed all the music and I published it. Man, as soon as I did that, Amazon Music, the shit popped up on Amazon Music. I was like, no way. So then, because I did Amazon Music before on another episode or another podcast. So I was like, that's what it was. See, I'm on Amazon right now. I'm not even on Spotify. Let me see if I can get this thing to play. Yo, what's good? It's Chairman House of Barf. Okay, so I took a little time. Okay, and they already got recommendations for me. See, I didn't have this before. I think they figured out. So here, I'll read a couple of them. The Ramsey Show, Marketplace, How to Build This. Or is that everything? How Build This. How I Built This. Oh, okay, I get it now. Planet Money, Business Wars. So Business Movers. Clark Howard Podcast, The Indicator, Motley Fool. I Hate My Boss. Oh, that's funny as shit. I'm not even kidding. I did not even know that was out there. Mad Money with Jim Cramer. Women Money with Susan Orman. Real Estate, Bigger Pockets. So, you know what's funny about these recommendations? I didn't have these before. And, I would listen to these. Like, these sound like things that I'm interested in. Here, my phone's about to die. Let me put my charger on. Okay. So, and again, the reason why I'm sharing this information is because this is about business, accounting, regulation, and finance. And I'm not here to hold anybody back. This is information that I really could try to keep to myself. You know what I'm saying? Because, even I got, some associates that want to start a podcast. I'm like, dude, do it. When you hear when people say that, yeah, I want to start my own business. People are like, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm talking about starting this podcast, I'm like, do it. Like I was even sending them the link to Anchor, the app that I'm using. I'm like, do it. But this is one reason why I'm sharing this information because I'm like, these are the things that I could see people kind of getting stuck behind and being like, oh no, they're talking about the RSS and distribution and whatnot. That's why I'm sharing this information with the RSS link and everything. So, was able to get the Amazon one finally up. It's only one episode because it's the last episode. So then I went to the other ones. Apple, I got that one done, but I'm not even sure if it's working yet. Because Apple was taking a long time, and Apple required so much. They were like, can you, they required so much. It was getting kind of annoying with Apple a little bit. Shit, it's not even pulling up right now. Okay, I got it. Okay, it's pulling up right now. I still don't think it's done though. Let me see. Because, it didn't even give me the, so I gotta take, again, so I gotta take the RSS link from Anchor or Spotify, um, and I gotta put that on the other portal. And then when I put that RSS link on the other portal, for example, just let's say Amazon. So I take my Spotify RSS link, and when I open my account with Amazon, I give them my RSS link. Once I give them my RSS link, they give me an Amazon RSS link. So then I go back to Spotify and I put the Amazon RSS link on Spotify, and then I guess that's how it links up. And then they also, we've discussed this before, the RSS link is associated, I guess, with my email. And I guess if that's how people want to send me money, they can send it to my email. So that email that you see, the ct287gph@gmail.com, that's the email that I just created. I created it for spam. It was just a spam. Two things. I created for spam and also for young interviewers. Like when I go to jobs, I got some older email addresses, and they would see my older email addresses and be like, "Damn, dog, are you like 80?" I'm like, "No, man, no, I'm not 80." They're like, "Dog, you ain't got no like Gmail or anything." So whenever I'm done with younger people, I'll say, "Okay, here's my Gmail." But really, I don't, I'm saying my Gmail is for spam and whatnot. So I'm probably going to start another email address, something that's more associated with the show. You know what I'm saying? So people understand. Okay, Chan Man, House of Barf or whatever. I'll figure it out. Good news is I got a couple of them done. I'm not seeing them all the way completed, but they did say it could take up to about 24 hours to get all this stuff updated and completed. It looks like Apple takes a long time because they're taking a while to get this up and going. But they're starting to figure it out as well too, what this podcast is about, and that's amazing. Okay, actually, Apple just gave me I believe this is it right here, my RSS. Let me see if it works. It looks like it worked. Okay, bet. Okay, so this is the good news though. The bad news is I'm going to have to take down all my music from each episode. And according to my analytics, let me see, which I'm like, no way. They say I have 120. Ooh, it already went up. It's already saying available on 3 other platforms. They're saying I have 126 episodes, which is bonkers to me. That's bogus because I don't feel like I've done 126 episodes. Also, I'm a little pissed off because I had a podcast probably about 4.5 years ago, and I didn't even do probably 15 episodes, and I had sponsors. Like, I'm 126 episodes in, and I still don't got no blam sponsors. Come on, people. I gotta reach out. I gotta reach out to some sponsors and figure out how I'm gonna get that done. And I'm just figuring out the RSS link, and that's probably it. The more people that can get to it, the more, you know what I'm saying, the more the sponsors. Because even last night, so as soon as I put this shit up on, when I figured, I said, let me remove the music and see if it works, right? So as soon as I put that shit up on, what was it, Amazon Music, let me see. There was one, I did Amazon Music, Apple, and I think I got the Castbox. And that was probably about it. That was probably all I got done. Because I had to create portfolios for all of them. And I had to, you got to wait a second. You can't just, like, it doesn't all just carry over right away. Like, you got to wait a while. And then, And then I'm sitting there waiting and refreshing the screen over and over. And you can see the information kind of generating slowly. They even said it could take 24 hours. So I'm just waiting for the information to generate, and while trying to create another platform on something else and trying to keep all the windows up and not getting confused. So immediately as that shit went up, I saw there was one listener. I was like, oh shit, they probably not from Spotify. They probably came from another platform. And I know House of Barf is probably confusing. They're probably like, oh man, this guy, he's a goofball. You know what I'm saying? Which I am a goofball. I really am. But this is probably just going to be about, I don't know, partying and drinking and whatnot, which it actually is, believe it or not. I'm just not in the right atmosphere. I don't have a studio. Or if I had a studio, trust me, I'm working on trying to get a studio. I got a couple people I want to work with, that have what I would deem like nice restaurants or nice stores. And I was like, yo, I would like to do my podcast out of your store. So I'm working with a couple of people to kind of get a studio, and that way, you know what I'm saying? Also, restaurants or studios that will allow me to smoke, because I want to have a couple smokes with y'all. I also want to have a couple drinks with y'all, and also I want some music, because like you take away the music, you're killing the vibe. Like nobody wants to sit here and listen to somebody talk about business and finance all day. I've been doing this, no offense, 10 years, possibly a little bit longer. People will go 20 years without talking about their finances. They'll come to your office. You'd be like, yeah, so let's sit down and talk about your shit. And you thinking that y'all are going to be talking for, I'll say minimum an hour. But I would say for me personally, minimum 2 hours. I'm thinking we're going to go 2 hours long. It's been how long since you reviewed your finances? Oh, man, 10 years, whatever. Okay. So I'm thinking they're going to put at least 2 hours into this meeting, and we're going to get a lot accomplished. These people will be like 30 minutes in. Woo! How long is this going to be? In my head, I'm thinking 2 hours, but I'll be like, I don't know, just, a little bit more, maybe an hour. They're like, woo, an hour. Man, I don't know, man, Sharon. I got to get up out of here. So the music was kind of a thing for me to say, okay, here, let's take a break real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll put on a little bit of music. You can listen to the music. You can go relax, let your brain decompress before we hop back into another, topic. Not to mention, I know my voice is monotone. I'm not like out there going crazy. So I can completely understand. It's like, need a break from this. This guy's put me to sleep. So was excited. Got one listener last night. I wish it would tell me what platform that one listener listened to, because I don't think it was Spotify. I think it was another episode. So what I gotta do is I gotta go into all these episodes. They're saying I got 126 of them, and that's crazy. But I gotta go into all of them. I hope there's like a bulk button that I can, they said, oh shit. So real quick. So for a while, most of my listeners were on Spotify, right? It was what shit, my math is off right now. It was, what's 100 minus 15? What's that, 85? It was 85, percent Spotify, 15% Spotify for podcasters. Last night I got 2.5%. I guess I was at one listener from a web browser. So, who knows? That could have been me. Probably, working around trying to figure everything out. Possibly, I don't know. Now I think about it, it probably was me. I don't know. But I got to go into all these episodes. I got to remove all this third-party music. So what I'm going to try to figure out a way is, because I don't want to take the music away completely, but what I can try to do is create 2 episodes, one for Spotify listeners, so that, you can just have some fun. I was even thinking of some ideas with the music, and maybe possibly having like Women Wednesdays or something. I'm joking. Like Working Women Wednesdays, where maybe on Wednesdays I play music that I deem is more feminine. Because one thing I realize is 99%, looking at my audience, 99% of my audience is male. And 99% of my audience is males between the ages of 35 and 44. There are no women and there's no young people. So I'm trying to figure out how to grasp that audience, because that's very important to me. Because young people are susceptible to a lot of scams and fraud. People think old people are like the only ones. Yeah, true. If you're in your 70s, yeah, you're prime for harassment from random people who are trying to get you to sign up for shit or make you feel like you got a bill or, Amazon bill or IRS bill or something you didn't pay. Uh, and, uh, but young people here, I got to take a quick break. Here, never mind, forget that, because I'm telling you, all it's going to be is negativity. But people don't realize young people are just as much susceptible to fraud and scams, just as much. And the reason why is because young people are more likely to do everything over the internet, online. They're more willing to, if they want to go shopping or, purchase a car, even anything. If they can, they'll even buy their house offline if they can. They'll put all their information online and they'll just say, hey, I'm buying a car. Well, then people will steal their information, or, they weren't buying a car in the first place. And as well as, if I could possibly, my own personal assumption, younger men, younger people, especially, won't do a whole lot of research. That's what's one thing that's kind of blowing me about the stock market. I talk about all the time, gamification, is young people are more so like, hey, I made $1 million in the stock market, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? But the way they did it was more of a gamified way. They mainly was just playing Tetris on Robinhood or on, their broker dealer's website, whatever. I don't want to just use anyone, Webull, whatever. They were just playing Tetris or whatever game, and they got themselves up to 1 million. But the thing is, the foundation is not built. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you got a lot of individuals who've lost millions of dollars, and you ask them, what do you do when you lose millions of dollars? They'll say, I do it all over again. But when you don't have a strong foundation and you kind of just would do it off of gamification, your foundation may not be strong and you may not understand exactly everything you're doing, but at the end of the day, I would love to make millions overnight just off of, falling forward. The reason why I want women, and it's not what you think. I know everybody loves women. Everything needs a woman's touch. Yeah, I love women. Don't get it twisted. But women can also be susceptible. They're a little bit, I would say, this is just speculation. I don't have any stats. I would say a little bit less, because typically women do a lot more communication. They speak a lot more. They'll talk to you a lot more. If you have a conversation with men, there probably will be a lot less words, a lot less questions. With women, there will be a lot more questions, a lot more communication. Not to mention also, women will also do a lot more work, a lot more research before they do anything. There, I would say women are a little bit less. This is just me being speculative. I'm not saying that this is true. But on another note, I would say also, women can also rely kind of heavily on other individuals to help them with things such as their business, their accounting, their regulation of their finances. And when they rely on these other individuals can sometimes take advantage of them. A woman starts a business. She has a buddy who is, I don't know, let's say they're a tax advisor. And this guy says, yeah, sure. And she needs an accountant. People don't realize that finances is broken down into so many different functions, just like any other field. Take medicine. Would you use a veterinarian to take, to do surgery on your body? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or would you use a foot doctor to fix, whatever? I don't know, your spleen or whatever. I don't know. Same thing in finances. Finances is broken down, I was saying, regulation, real estate, banking systems. Banking systems is credit cards, loans, CDs, things like that. Business is accounting. What else? Consumer sentiment, whatever. I'm just making that up. I'm not sure. Regulation is compliance. Finances is your things like just your personal finances. You got I think I said real estate. You got securities. You got taxes. There's so many different factors. So sometimes bullshitters will walk around. Oh yeah. I'm the man. I know everything about finances. I'm a tax advisor. I'm a CPA. You know, and this person doesn't know shit about business. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I'm not trying to say anything. Sometimes I feel like women can bring in a tax advisor to help them with their business. They're wondering why is their business failing? It's because they're not, that tax advisor is not an accountant. Not to mention on the other end, sometimes I feel like spouses, when women are spouses, they can rely heavily on their spouse to handle the business, the accounting, and the finances. And then their spouse, they typically say women live longer than men. So it would have to, I guess, be a man-woman relationship or something. I don't know. But let's say their spouse passes away or divorces or something, and now this woman is left on her own to handle her own finances. Not saying that she can't figure it out. That's not what I'm saying at all. Because women, geniuses, I'm not saying that. But they can start reaching out to different advisors. They're doing the right thing. They're calling the bank. They're calling an advisor. Because women, that's where they're very intelligent. It's like they're not like men who can say, oh, I can do this on my own. I'll figure it out on my own. No, they're like, I'm going to call an advisor, say, hey, I got divorced. You know, we did a quick claim deed on the house, and I got $75,000 that I didn't have last week, and I want to make sure I do the right thing with it. You know what I'm saying? So, but then this advisor, unfortunately, is a scumbag. You know what I'm saying? So then what happens? They say, sure. Let me help you out. I got this class that you can take. The class is only $30,000. It's like $30,000. Oh yeah. But after that, it's guaranteed risk free. You're going to make it right back. So then she's like, sure. Well, I got this 75. That'll leave me with 40, you know what I'm saying? Or 45 or whatever. Sure. I'll go ahead and pay for the class. Don't worry. Magic Johnson, you know, the guy who just bought the Commanders, he'll be there. And guess who else will be there? Donald Trump. Oh, wow. Great. Oh, these are famous names. Yeah. But then you get to the class and it's nothing but a cutout board. And now the woman's in the class sitting there and she gets this gut feeling. Something doesn't feel right. But she goes through the class, sits there, and next thing you know, she finds out, wow, that was a complete scam. You know, so that's one reason why it's really important to me to broaden this audience. The other audiences, it's not that they don't matter to me. It's funny. Some of these, it's not funny, but some of these, I don't even want to say it anymore. Because I don't want to be inappropriate. They have the genders who are listening to my podcast. They even have other categories. I'm like, how do you even know that person's, I don't know, binary or whatever? I guess when they sign up for the platform, they put binary. So yeah, this is what I'm working on. I'm going to continue to try to work on this and try to get this up on multiple platforms. Once I'm able to get this up on multiple platforms, because I have been getting questions from people. Hey, how's that podcast coming along? And I'm serious. I haven't told anybody about this podcast. I'm dead ass. Like I told you, I got 2 little ones. I told them, and I even told them like, look, I'm telling y'all, all right. I told my pop. I think he told my mom's, and then I think that's when it kind of blew up. My spouse has an idea. I think my little ones told my spouse or my estranged spouse, and I don't think she knows exactly where it's at or what's happening with it. But I think she's like, I know you got a podcast or something out there. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm just chilling. If you're chilling, if you're leaning, you can clean. You can get a job. You know, I'm just like, okay, don't worry. I got this. I'm really working on getting this RSS up. Probably take a few minutes. It's approximately 8:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we still have about 40 minutes, 39 minutes before the market opens. Let me go ahead real quick and pull up CNBC. Let's just see what they're talking about real quick. All right, got CNBC up. Let's see what they're talking about.
Said is right. We need some regulatory
social media anti-hate
to step in and again just hold the companies liable if they allow libel. It's really simple.
I have no idea what they're talking about, but if I could guess, that's exactly what I've been saying to people for, I promise, 5+ years. The lady on CNBC looks nice today. She got
the Dow's now down.
Ooh, futures don't look good.
Loss of about 111 if we were to open here. NASDAQ indicated down by about 95. S&P futures off by 20. Welcome to August. Stick around. Squawk Box will be right back.
She got her hair done. I mean, she looks nice. I like to listen to TD Ameritrade Network as well.
To the fact that the index has yet to. The index on the left, talk to us about what's standing out here in terms of the discrepancy between the two products.
Well, yeah, Ben, you kind of explained it there right there. Year to date, we made some new intraday highs on the Russell, but it's falling off.
Okay, they're talking about the Russell 2K and I guess another index. Futures did not look too bright, too green this morning, which is, it's okay, you know, depending on which end. People always want to talk about green days, but I'm like, what if you're shorting? You know what I'm saying? I love red days. And not even if you're just shorting, what if you can get a stock that, like Foot Locker, I still look at Foot Locker, $26. You know what I'm saying? I still think it's going to go down to probably about $24. And then when it goes down to $24, that's when I'll probably hop back in. And then I'm going to give their new CEO a chance to see if she can possibly, I think her name is Mary Dillon, to see if she can get it up and popping like Ultra Beauty. She may not, you know, it's CEO, I'm pretty sure is a hard position. Now, do I think I could be a CEO of a company? Absolutely. But I think it's really a hard position. Because you have such pressure and results under a short amount of time. I'm not sure if that's true or not. I've never been a CEO, but I could imagine if someone said, hey, you want to come in and be our CEO? I can imagine they're going to want results almost immediately. They want instant dividends. So yeah, we're going to go ahead. Something I'm going to experiment with, maybe not today, is creating 2 episodes for my Spotify listeners so that they can just vibe and just relax and have some music in between the breaks. And then possibly, I'll just probably send out the rest of the episodes to all the other platforms with no music, and just kind of figure out how this goes. It's only a matter of time before I get myself in trouble or something. They're just like, look, man, you're going to get yourself cease and desist or sued if you don't take that third-party music off. It's like, come on, man. People want to listen to business and finance. They want to vibe too, man. You know, it takes a lot of the pressure off of the topics. When you sit there talking about dividends and ex-dividend date and what is a dividend. All right, I got to get ready to take a break. This is Chairman House of Barf. Yo, what's good? This is Chairman House of Barf. So real quick, again, I'm going to work on trying to create more platforms and or more accounts on these different platforms and trying to link this RSS link. This shit is it's a bit tedious and it's a bit annoying. I would love if there was just a button I could press to say, hey, do you want us to distribute your podcast on all these platforms? Check yes. And then they could possibly remove all the third-party music from all the other platforms. And then I could just do one episode. But yeah, again, I'm going to experiment with doing multiple episodes. Probably do like 2 episodes. And want to give them for Spotify listeners so that we can vibe, and then other podcasts. One thing that I was just talking to somebody about, I completely forgot her name. I think it is an associate of my pops, of my mom and pops, lawyer. Actually, I think they know 2 lawyers that did this, but I can think of one lawyer. I forget her name. Was a lawyer, doing really well in the law field, started her podcast. And I commend that because that's not what I did. Started her podcast. Same thing that happened, I guess, to this guy named Destroying. Same thing that happened to me. You get to a point where your podcast gets known. And what happens is, essentially what it is a conflict of interest. organizations want to make sure that the information you're putting out there is, conducive or, aligned with their thoughts. That's why sometimes I think you'll see organizations say something like, and these thoughts are not the thoughts of the company. This is their own thoughts. Okay. So what this lady was talking about was, or I guess told my people was, she got hit with it. Her organization, her firm found out about her podcast and gave her the ultimatum. Are you going to choose your podcast or are you going to choose us? Now, she had bigger balls than me. I chose my firm. I said, you know what? I'm going to stick with the firm. You know what I'm saying? This is a great opportunity. And at the time, I made 25 cents off the podcast. But I was like, you know what? I was younger. I was like, I don't know, 32. Maybe even a little younger, 31. And I'm like, so I used to sell life insurance when I was like 20. And I always had that in the back of my head. People would always be like, man, what you know about life insurance at 20 years old? You probably still in your parents' policy or something like that, So I'm like, man, who's going to even really listen to me at 30 years old, 31 years old, talking about business and finance? Let me go get some more experience. So I went, worked for this organization. And it for the most part, I'll say out of 4 years, the 2 first years, great experience. The 2 last years completely erased everything. It was terrible. It was god awful. But she went off and she said she's making 6 figures regularly now. And again, when people say 6 figures, I don't know what that means because I'm like, are you making $100,000? Are you making $200,000 or is it $300,000? 6 figures. That's a lot of numbers, So that was kind of an encouragement to say, hey, just get out there, get it popping. I didn't really listen to the whole podcast, but I even was listening to Busta Rhymes a little bit on this one podcast. I can't remember which one it was, but he even said, man, stay in your lane. Don't worry about, that's one reason why I haven't been listening to a lot of other podcasts, but because I'm trying to find my lane, I'm trying to find my voice, I'm trying to find out who I am. So I don't want to listen to a bunch of other podcasts and then hop on my podcast and it just sounds like everything you just heard. And one thing I have noticed is after I create my podcast, if I do go listen to a podcast, I'm like, yo, I was just talking about that shit. My gosh, Chad, you might be on to something. But Buster was just saying, don't worry about trying to be like everybody else or try to be better than everybody else. Be yourself, stay in your lane. And what's going to happen is you're not trying to beat out the competition. You're trying to add to the industry. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I was like, you know what? That's what I'm trying to do. And there was something else I was listening to somebody say. It was a contractor. He was a home contractor. And he started doing home contract work at a young age too. He was like 18 years old and started doing home contract work. His approach was, when people called him, hey, I want to let you know I'm 18 years old. And some people would be like, I don't know. And then he said one guy was like, okay, that's no problem. Just go ahead and come out. And it just happened, the house that he did the contract work, where the guy said, yeah, sure, come on out, was like a multi-million-dollar house, or like a 1 million, 2 million, no more than like 3 million. I know that's like very vague, but let's just say it was like a $1.5 million house. So he did such a great job that other people started giving him work. You know what I'm saying? So, right now I'm in my mid-30s, creating content. I still don't have all the experience as everybody else, but still very immature. And I look at some of these other people, these data analysts or whatnot, they look at they understand, for example, sometimes I get confused. How does the stock price relate to market capitalization? So people can look at the market cap and be like, what in the world? Why is this stock $500 per share? Their market cap is only $1 billion. Most companies that are $1 billion are only about $243. This is outrageous. I'm not buying that stock. And I'm like, okay, well, As soon as my next paycheck comes in, I'm getting 1 share, So I still get kind of confused on all that. I'm still trying to figure all that out. There's so many things I don't understand. Listen, real quick, I don't even use an Excel sheet. There's so many people that use Excel sheets to kind of figure out all the numbers and mumbo jumbo they're trying to figure out. I don't have all that shit. Now, do I plan on getting to that shit? I do. And at the same time, I plan on getting to it with y'all, with us. That's the purpose of Barf and everything is I'm going to be watching YouTube videos eventually saying, how did this person become that in their career so young? And I'm going to see, okay, this is how there was somebody I was just looking at and how they were setting up their Excel sheet to what were they doing? They were just fluctuating the prices. I think they made a profit on a stock, and they were trying to evaluate whether it was time to start taking some cheese off of the or some cream off of the top of the cake, or if it's possible that they could hold on some more. And then they put these numbers in their Excel sheet, and they were trying to evaluate it. And at the end of it was a short little joint. At the end of the video, they were like, I'm going to keep holding on a little bit longer because of, what numbers they ran. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. I'm going to try to look these people up so that we can take this shit to the next level. And you can constantly hear possibly the growth. Sometimes I can get stuck. I've been kind of stuck on, damn, I just got another listener. Oh, nice. Damn. And I'm only on 4 platforms. Woo. See, normally the listeners come like once a day. I got one probably around 1 a.m. yesterday, and then just got another one right now. But yeah, so that's kind of just what's going on. Hopefully, once these sponsors start coming in, they start off with pennies. It's like I got to get like 900 views just to get a penny. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Or maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe like 100 views for a penny. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it starts off. But once one comes in, it's like a floodgate. They start coming daily. They start saying, hey, you want to, and then there's 2 things. You either take the highest paid one. The highest paid one I got previously, I think, was 17 cents. 17 cents for a couple hundred views. That's around the time I quit. But these things, they come often. They keep coming. And then you got to say to yourself, either you're going to take the most expensive one or one that just aligns with your character or your podcast, your show. So if you're on your show and then you talk about, like, I don't know, such and such funeral home, you may be like, nah, that doesn't really align with or I don't know, something that's just, off. You probably be like, man, I don't really feel like that aligns with me or my character or my audience. So they could be paying you more money, but you may be like, nah, it doesn't even just flow. It doesn't even flow right. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be working on for a little bit. We got approximately 15 minutes before the market opens. I'm going to try to see if I can get a couple more accounts created, get a couple more RSS links. Hopefully by the end of today, late tonight, I hopefully will be on approximately probably like 8 platforms, maybe 6, 7 platforms. And then we can see if those numbers will start fluctuating a little bit more. They'll start ticking just a little bit more. So 200 listeners may come from Spotify, but then maybe another, few come from Apple, then another few come from Amazon, and then we'll start seeing, hundreds of views on episodes compared to 10, or we'll just see 100 on an episode. It'll be 10 from Spotify, 10 from Spotify podcasters, 10 from Amazon, 10 from Apple. And then these episodes will start getting 30, 40 views per episode. Then I'll start creating more content, and then I'll start getting more pennies. And then hopefully I'll get enough pennies that I can start maintaining a lifestyle, and then going to the bank and being like, hey, bitch, you're not selling my home. I got some bread right here. Now, this all is going to take some time. So in the meanwhile, I got to make sure I stay on top of these bills. And also in the other meanwhile, I got to make sure that I keep creating content, but just staying in my lane, just stay Chan Man. I'm kind of blown about this music. That shit kind of blew me. It was like kind of the music kind of, you know, even I sometimes would listen to the podcast and skip, you know, me talking. I'm not trying to say, you know, but I just like, man, I just want to hear that. I just want to hear that song one more time. But yeah, we're going to get this all figured out. Again, I want to thank anybody and everybody who decided to stop by and kick it with your mans. I appreciate it. This is Chan Man. This is House of Barf.